something almost untouchable about the original Predator. Imagine, if you will, you're lost in the jungle, trying to find your way out. Every single direction looks the same. You hear animals of all different sounds off in the distance, but then you see something out of the corner of your eye. You think it isn't anything, you trek on, but still feeling like something, somewhere, is watching you, as if you've suddenly become its next meal or trophy. That feeling of being hunted, of not fully knowing what could happen next, is the exact feeling I got after watching the original Predator for the first time as an adult. Oh sure, I knew of the character and the franchise for years, but never actually watched many of them at all, especially the first one. But that feeling, the feeling of being someone or something else's prey, is one of many, many reasons why I, and I'm sure many other fans, truly believe that as great as Prey is, and how good Predator Badlands might possibly be, there's still nothing that can beat the original and the best Predator. What makes Predator so impossibly timeless isn't just its creature design or the macho lineup of 80s action icons, it's the atmosphere. It's the way the jungle itself becomes a character, oppressive, humid, and alive, swallowing the team whole as if it's in league with the alien hunter itself. The sound design alone sells the terror, the faint rustle of leaves, the hum of insects that fill the silence, and that eerie clicking sound, the Predator's calling card that creeps under your skin and makes your pulse spike. Even with all the sequels, prequels, and reimaginings, some good, some not so good, nothing has ever fully recaptured that primal fear of the original. Prey has come the closest, and I'll always respect it for breathing new life into the mythos while understanding what made the original work so well. Simplicity, a hunter, a hunted, and a battlefield where nature itself is an enemy. Meanwhile, entries like the Predator tried to modernize, expand, and complicate the story, but in doing so they lost that raw, claustrophobic magic. The original didn't need lore dumps or galaxies worths of explanations. It thrived on mystery. It gave you just enough to fear, and then it let your imagination do the rest. That's why, no matter how many times Hollywood circles back to this beloved franchise, Predator will remain unmatched. It's lightning in a bottle, a perfect balance of sci-fi, horror, and 80s action bravado wrapped up in the suffocating dread of isolation. It's that slow, creeping paranoia that something far superior, far more intelligent is toying with you before it ever delivers that killing blow. Every time the familiar clicking sounds echoes through the trees, every time that thermal vision cuts to the screen, you're reminded of what made it so effective in the first place: fear of the unseen. That's the soul of Predator, and no sequel, prequel, or spin-off can ever truly capture that again. Hey, if you like what you see, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that nerdy bell because it really helps out. From the very first frame, Predator makes it clear that the jungle isn't just a backdrop, it's the beating heart of this film. It's thick, unrelenting, and claustrophobic, swallowing the team whole the moment they touch down. Every leaf rustle and branch snap feels like a warning, every patch of fog concealing something waiting to strike. What John McTiernan did so brilliantly was transform an environment that should have been empowering for these hardened commandos into a maze of confusion and death. These are men used to being the hunters, used to tracking their prey with precision, yet here in this dense, green, hellish landscape, they are stripped of that very power. The trees become cages, the heat becomes suffocating, and the once confident swagger of this squad slowly melts into paranoia. It's not just a physical jungle, it's a psychological one too. A living, breathing labyrinth that isolates them until there's nowhere left to hide. What's haunting about the film is that the jungle mirrors the Predator itself, silent, patient, and omnipresent. You can't tell where the danger begins or ends, because everything feels alive. The camera moves through the vines and foliage like an unseen stalker, almost giving the audience the Predator's perspective without ever fully revealing it. That's what makes it terrifying. We know something is out there, but we never quite know where. The use of sound amplifies this dread tenfold. That low, rhythmic hum of the score, the echo of insects that never stop, and then, buried deep in that chaos of noise, is the faint, bone-chilling click. It's not just an alien noise anymore, it's the sound of dominance. The jungle conceals the creature, and the creature owns the jungle. Together, they form a perfect predator-prey ecosystem, one that doesn't need words, just the mounting tension of survival slipping away. And yet, even amidst all that terror, Predator never loses that sense of grounded realism. These aren't screaming victims from a slasher film, they're elite soldiers armed to the teeth and trained to kill. Seeing them completely undone by an unseen enemy hits harder because they're supposed to be the apex hunters. But McTiernan flips that dynamic in a way few films have dared to since. As the team gets picked off one by one, you start to feel their confusion, their helplessness. They empty entire magazines into the jungle and still hit nothing. It's chaos, desperation, and fear rolled into one unforgettable visual. The might of human weaponry rendered meaningless against something far superior. That reversal of power, that moment when the hunters become the hunted, is what makes the original Predator so enduring. By the time Dutch realizes what he's truly up against, the film transforms completely. It's no longer about firepower, but instinct. Man stripped down to his most primal form, forced to fight on Predator's terms. The jungle becomes the final battleground, not just of survival, but of identity. The moment Dutch smears himself in mud, he becomes both hunter and hunted, part of the environment that once trapped him and his comrades. It's poetic in a sense, a return to nature, to raw instinct, to the roots of fear itself. That's why the original Predator resonates even decades later. It isn't just about one alien killing soldiers in a jungle, it's about humanity facing its own vulnerability, its own arrogance, and the terrifying realization that, in the grand scheme of things, we were never truly on top. Long before you even ever see the Predator, you feel him. That's the true genius of this film, its ability to make an invisible creature feel so overwhelmingly present. It's not about jump scares or cheap reveals, it's about the slow, unbearable awareness that something is out there, somewhere, studying every move, measuring every breath you take. The jungle becomes a stage for paranoia. You start scanning the tree line the way the characters do, eyes darting from shadow to shadow, half expecting the shimmer of that cloaking device to appear. Even when nothing happens, the silence itself becomes a weapon. It's as if the film is daring you to blink, to look away, because the moment you do, you know the Predator will strike. That's how well the tension is built in this film. It doesn't rely on showing, but on suggesting. McTiernan understood that fear of the unseen is far more powerful than any CGI spectacle could ever become. He gives us glimpses, flashes, a heat vision shot here, a distorted outline there, but just enough to let your imagination do the heavy lifting. You don't need to see the creature's face to know it's close. The jungle suddenly quiets down, the insects stop, and you realize something has entered the scene that just doesn't belong. That feeling of an alien intelligence lurking just beyond human perception seeps through every frame. It's almost predatory in how it manipulates the audience. We are not just watching the soldiers become the hunted, we are being hunted with them. Every sound, every rustle, every breath carries that dreadful possibility that might not be the wind at all. That unshakable sensation is amplified by how the Predator plays with perspective. Those infrared shots, for instance, aren't just stylistic choices, they place us in the Predator's vision, giving us his view of the prey. It's an unsettling position to be in because it makes us complicit in the hunt of Arnie and his comrades. We are seeing these men the way the creature does, as moving targets, as heat signatures, as living trophies. The brilliance lies in how the film consistently shifts between that perspective and the humans, trapping the audience in an uneasy duality. You know he's there, somewhere in the foliage, but you're powerless to stop him, just like them. That kind of tension can't be replicated by flashy action sequences or bigger budgets. It's a psychological hold the original Predator maintains from start to finish. When the Predator finally reveals himself in full, it's not just a moment of horror, it's a moment of release. The build-up has been so suffocating, so prolonged, that seeing this creature feels like confronting the very embodiment of that dread you've been feeling all along. Stan Winston's creature design is so instantly iconic because it fulfills that invisible promise. The monster you've been fearing is real, and is even more terrifying and ugly than your imagination ever dared to picture. But even after you've seen him in all his hideous glory, that earlier feeling never fully goes away. The fear of the unseen still lingers because the film trained you to expect it. You keep looking over your shoulder, listening for that faint clicking sound, that subtle reminder that even when you can't see the Predator, he's always there, waiting, watching, hunting. At its core, Predator is a film about the most primal struggle imaginable, the act of hunting and the terror of being hunted. It strips the concept of survival down to its most animalistic essence. showing how fragile the human sense of control really is. What makes the Predator such an unforgettable antagonist isn't just the technology or brute strength at its disposal, but the way it hunts, with patience, intelligence, and purpose. It doesn't kill recklessly or without reason, it observes, studies, and chooses its moments. Every death in the jungle feels like a statement, a lesson in how powerless even the strongest of humans can be when faced with something that hunts for sport, not necessity. That is what elevates Predator beyond typical action or horror. It is a meditation on the dominance and the uncomfortable truth that humanity's role as apex predator is not always guaranteed. The film's brilliance lies in how it parallels the Predator's methods with those of its prey. Dutch's team are hunters themselves, elite soldiers trained to infiltrate, kill, and disappear. They think they understand what it means to stalk an enemy, to move through the wilderness unseen. But once the Predator enters that equation, their tactics become meaningless. Every trap they set, every maneuver they plan, fails because they're up against a creature that embodies everything they thought they were. The hunter has met the perfect reflection of his own instincts, only sharper, faster, and utterly unfeeling. Watching the soldiers slowly realize they are not in control anymore is both tragic and unforgettably mesmerizing. Their confidence becomes fear, their bravado turns into silence, the jungle swallows them whole, and the Predator remains unseen, methodical, unstoppable. By the end, when Dutch stands covered in mud, roaring in defiance, it's not victory in the traditional sense, it's survival by the thinnest of margins. He doesn't conquer the Predator, he merely endures its presence. The jungle burns, the beast is dead, but the message lingers. The only way to defeat the perfect hunter is to become one yourself. That's the poetry of Predator. It's not just an action movie or a creature feature, it's a story about humanity's place in the food chain. For all of our strength, intellect, and weaponry, we're still animals when faced with the power of the unknown. And in that terrifying symmetry between man, monster, or alien, the film finds something almost mythic, a reminder that the thrill of the hunt cuts both ways. Decades after its release, the original Predator still stands as a masterclass in tension, atmosphere, and the pure terror of being hunted. Its genius isn't just in the creature design or the explosive action sequences, but in the way it manipulates fear itself, making the audience consistently aware of a presence they can feel long before they ever see it. The jungle, the score, the subtle clicks of the Predator's movements, all of it comes together to create an immersive, almost literally primal experience. Every sequel, prequel, or reimagining has added its own twist, for better or worse, and while some, like Prey, are exceptional in their own right, none have ever captured the perfect balance of suspense, character, and raw intensity that makes the original untouchable. For me, the enduring magic of Predator lies in that feeling of vulnerability, the way the film strips away human superiority and reminds us how terrifying it is to be at the mercy of a perfectly bred hunter. Even after knowing the story, seeing the Predator in action still sparks that sense of awe and dread, because the tension is rooted not in cheap scares, but in anticipation, intelligence, and the unknown. That's why, despite all the entries that have followed, this first film remains the definitive experience. It's more than just nostalgia, it is an understanding that the original Predator isn't just a movie, it's an encounter. And yet, even as I celebrate and will always love this first film's legacy, I can't help but feel excitement for what's next. The Predator is a character who refuses to grow stale, and the promise of his return in Predator Badlands is thrilling. I, for one, look forward to seeing him stalk new prey, navigate new environments, and remind audiences once again why he is one of cinema's greatest hunters.